Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my corner of the internet. My name is Jason, and today I'm fulfilling a sort of a few requests I've gotten about what mods, what exactly am I working with my Morrowind playthrough? Because I did say that there was some mods, some plugins that were active in it, and you know what? People are obviously curious about this, and so I figured I'd go ahead and do a video sort of detailing what it is. Now, my goal with my Morrowind playthrough was to make it as, we'll say, faithful to the original as possible. So there's been very few, we'll say, gameplay or content mods that have been added. I'm going to go ahead and take you through the list of the mods and sort of give you a brief sort of overview. Now, the first ones I want to address here are the Morrowind official add-ons. I described this a little bit during my Let's Play series, but thanks. I totally want to watch this ad. Thanks. Back when, Morrowind was released, Bethesda did release basically some free DLC, which are not included in any version of the game. I believe, actually, the GOG version may have added them. But if you get the game on Steam, or if you buy the anthology, or you have the old the Game of the Year edition, or if you have the Game of the Year edition, basically if you have any edition, like I said, I'm pretty sure except for the GOG version, you will not have this stuff. You'll have to go ahead and get it separately. I'll be including links to all the mods and any plugins that I'll be running throughout the playthrough. I'll be leaving those in the description below. You can also just take a look at the screen and see where I'm at, because I've sort of brought them up beforehand, so you can kind of take a look here. There we go. Stupid ad. So I've gone ahead and I've just taken a crop here of the screen, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. So, anyways, Bethesda released basically these individual plugins. So I'm running the Entertainers add-on, which basically here's the description. I'll go ahead and read these, might as well. So you speak with Dulnea Ralalin Balmora, and 8 plates on the topic of entertain the patrons, and she will give you options to tell jokes, dance, the high kick, play the drum, play the lute, and sing, or juggle. So that's basically what this add-on does. It lets you kind of just, be an entertainer. Bitter Coast Sounds. We've already heard a little bit of this, but reading the description here, let the gentle chorus of swamp wildlife draw you further into the mire throughout the entire swampy region of the Bitter Coast. You'll find dragonfly creatures now inhabit the muck ponds along the coast. So we'll have little dragonflies that will be flying around in the swampy regions, as well as we have I find it's like cricket sounds and stuff like that. You hear more wildlife along the Bitter Coast. So it's basically just an environmental thing. Just one note though, the dragonflies that it adds have collision boxes, so even though they look tiny, they will push you around. It's a little bit of a bug with that one. And the next plugin is the Area Effect Arrows. So you visit Aradran the Fletcher in Vivek's Foreign Quarter Lower Wasteworks for the world-famous area effect arrows exclusive to her shop. So basically, if you want exploding arrows with fire effects and stuff like that, it adds a merchant in Vivek that you can go ahead and purchase these arrows from. The Elm of Tohan. The Adamantium Helm of Tohan is a rare and powerful artifact lost in the Sheogorad region. Travel north to Dagonfell to find out more about this legendary helm. So this is kind of a quest/item that you can go ahead and get your hands on. The Master Index. This is a quest to find the 10 propylon, whatever, indices. In return for completing the quest, you will receive the Master Index, allowing you to travel to any propylon chamber or return to the Caldera Mages Guild from any propylon chamber. Cool. I haven't done this one before, but it's cool. It's been added to the game. Le Femme Armor. Le Femme Armor, specially tailored for the ladies, is on sale at the Fighters Guild in Vivek. From Cerolus, Sashas in Ebonheart, the Redoran Vaults, and the Lady Smiths in Alderun, Sadrith Mora, and Velothi. So it adds a new, armor specially tailored for the ladies. Adamantium Armor. If I recall correctly, this was not even in the game originally, so this plugin goes ahead and adds a shipment of hard-to-find adamantium armor has arrived in places across Vardenfell. and siege at Firemoth. The island fortress of Firemoth was taken by the skeleton army of Grum years ago. It's time to take it back. And I've mentioned this a little bit. This quest here begins in Seyda-Neen. And I mentioned this during my playthrough, saying I wasn't quite ready for it, but we will be going ahead and doing that as well. So these here are all official. These are made by Bethesda, and that's the only reason I've sort of allowed these ones into the game, because they actually change the game. They add content, but I see it as official content. So in my book, this is totally okay. Next up on my list is the unofficial Morrowind patch by Thippel. Thippel? Anyways, and I'm running version 1.6.3 now. There is the unofficial Morrowind patch was continued by various other people, and we have the details here on the UESP. So it actually takes it beyond 1.6.3 up to 1.66. However, as I alluded to in my Let's Play, they go beyond bug fixes. What this does, what the one I'm running does, is basically, it's listed right here. I'm not going to, let's go ahead and read these. The unofficial Morrowind patch does the following: fix any bugs in the quests that make them incompletable or skip you ahead, correct spelling and grammar mistakes in the dialogue and object names and give them a uniform appearance, make global scripts end when they are no longer needed, make quests be marked as finished so they no longer appear as in the active quest list when they should be, correcting any mesh or texture problems in the objects, correct incorrect subtitles, add any objects that were not included in the ESM files but were included on the game CDs, and fixes any other bugs and problems with the game. So basically, and then it has a list here of what it doesn't do. Like I said, I think this is fairly minor. This here, the add any objects, I'm pretty sure that doesn't really make any major changes to the game. Basically, it just does bugs fixes. The later versions, like I mentioned before, they actually make changes to the game. They actually remove spells. They actually they don't just correct dialogue. You know, when you see an obvious typo, that's easy enough to fix. But the continued project actually makes changes to the information that's given, and as such, that's why I'm not using the most recent version. But basically, I use this because as much as the game was patched by Bethesda officially, it still needed some work, and this here does fix a lot of the problems with the game. So this here is completely for bug fixes, and that's why I'm okay with this. This is cool. This is I feel like in keeping of the spirit of sort of that vanilla Morrowind experience. Now, this next part, I'm looking at the Morrowind code patch, and I'm actually going to load up the code patch here so that we can go through some of the things that it does. But basically, the unofficial Morrowind patch, it modifies the ESM files, the main content files of Morrowind, but the code patch actually modifies the executable, the exe file, and does things that the unofficial patch can't do. Now this one here, I was iffy about. Let's just go ahead and load it up so we can kind of take a look here. All right, and basically this is what you get when you put the Morrowind code patch into your folder and you double click on it. You get this here, and it's sort of I'll make this full screen. You choose the options you want, and then you there are some default things that are checked off, and then you just hit apply chosen patches, or you can hit uninstall all to get rid of it, because it's actually modifying the executable file. So like I said, I kind of wanted to stay away from a lot of these the game mechanics and things like that, but if it falls under, we'll say, like I said, keeping things fairly vanilla, I'm okay with it. So basically all the bug fixes are there. I'm not going to go through all of those. Interface changes, it makes some small changes to the way things work. I noticed when I was doing persuasion in one of the videos, normally, if I recall correctly, if you choose bribe or admire, it will close the persuasion box and then just show you what the results of it. I believe this here actually, part of what this did was actually kept the persuasion box open so you could continue trying to persuade. And I think that's, right here, persuasion improvement. And basically, if you click on any of these, it'll actually show you what the patch, what that specific checkmark does. I think this is right here. Yeah, selecting the option keeps the menu open. All right. So stuff like visuals, rain, snow collision. If I recall correctly, in the base game, rain will fall through roofs. So if you're like hiding under a canopy during the middle of a rainstorm, rain would continue falling through. This here goes ahead and makes it so that the canopy actually stops the rain. Now the only thing that really I feel alters the game is the Pickpocket Overhaul, and I might talk about this a little bit more during the actual Let's Play, but it goes ahead and describes right here that it's true. The pickpocket in Vanilla Morrowind is completely broken. Actually, I'll actually read this because I feel that this is a major change to the game that I'm actually making through a mod. And this one here I was really iffy about. I was thinking about, just going ahead and playing Morrowind normally, just dealing with the broken pickpocket mechanics, but I figured, what, let's just go ahead and at least turn this on here. So pickpocket in Vanilla Morrowind is a broken mechanic. Any character, no matter what level or stats, has the minimum chance, about 5%, to steal any item valued over 100 septims. An early game thief character with 40 sneak and 60 agility has under 60% probability to steal a 15 septim item from a merchant, with minimum countering skill, 5 sneak, and is often caught just closing the pickpocket window. So basically, this is true. Any pickpocket, any pickpocketing that you do in the base game, you're usually going to get caught, and it results in you having to sort of load your game, for quite a while before you can actually successfully pull it off. Either that, or you just get caught over and over again. It's actually the equation is really broken and makes pickpocket useless. So that's the only game-changing mod that I really turned on, was that one there. I forgot about this one. Let's see. Allows you to remove your arrow or bolt from a fully drawn weapon by pressing the ready weapon key. I forgot that this one was even de-knocked. This one was even checked. So that's another thing that I don't feel like drastically changes the game. And this is a toggle sneak, so that instead of having to hold down the control button to sneak, I can just go ahead and use that. So this is the other thing. You can go ahead and do various checks, but that is what I have. I basically just kept it on default. And that's actually it. I don't think I really changed any of these checks. So if you want to be playing with the same thing I am, basically just go ahead, load up the code patch, and you can go ahead and just apply the default checked options. I think I may have turned off one or two of the things that I didn't like the interface changes they made, and that's about it. All right. So that's that. The last mod that I've got going here is the Morrowind Graphic Extender XE. And so actually, give me a second. I will open that up. All right. So what this does is this kind of hooks into Morrowind and allows. I originally started or put this on just so that I could use widescreen support. By default, Morrowind doesn't have widescreen support, and it doesn't have support for 1080p resolution. So I went ahead and I originally loaded this up, but it also has options for like distant land and reflections and stuff like that. So I figured, you know what? Like I said, I was playing around with it, and eventually I was like, oh, this looks really nice, and I decided to keep it. So this here is a bit of a graphics. A bit of a graphics mod. It's just one thing that just changes the way the graphics are rendered in the game. It doesn't change any of the textures. It doesn't really sort of change anything in the game. It just basically says it takes the information in the game and then renders it a different way. And that's how we end up looking, getting what we have. I used the shader setup to add, depth of field, sun shafts, and add a fine bloom to things. So this here is, we'll say the final, mod that I'm using. So overall, Morrowind is pretty vanilla. The only real changes are one, the overhaul to the pickpocketing, and adding we'll say a bit of an upgrade to the graphics, just in the way it's rendered. Other than that, like I said, I wanted to keep things as close to the original as possible. So because like I said, I want to, yeah, just because. So yeah, that's basically it. That's basically what I'm running for Morrowind. Yeah, if you have any questions about any of that, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and try to put links to all these different mods in the description below. So if you want to go ahead and grab those, so yeah, that's it. If yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and I will see about answering those. If you have any suggestions for mods, actually, I'm probably not going to take them at this point. I'm kind of set with what I want to be playing with. Like I said, it has to be very vanilla friendly. I can't really change anything, and I feel like I've already achieved that. I feel like I'm already sort of pushing things, anyways, with the graphics mod and the pickpocketing overhaul. So, anyways, until next time, I would like to ask you all to game on.